Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Celine, and here in Block Mage, we talk everything about ascension and the expansion of your consciousness. In today's video, my goal is to show you how to bring that spark, that eternal beauty, your unique soul fractal out so that you can truly shine in the world. You are God, and seeing your unique fractal, there is nothing that takes my breath away. I am given this gift to bring out the best in everyone, to expand people, and to help you remember what a miracle you are. Even if you don't think so, even if no one has ever believed in you, I believe in you. We're all meant to do something in this world that perfectly fits who we are. The human in you, the soul that resides deep within you, is wanting to feel alive, to be in love with life, to experience the full fuck of life, to laugh hysterically, to feel intensely the sublime, the unfathomable breadth of what it is to be human, to feel calm, at peace, to be reassured that you are provided for. You've felt numb for a while. Life has been boring, it's been mundane. You've lost your creativity because you settle for a job that's safe. You go home and watch Netflix. Are you okay with that? Life will flash before you and you've done nothing. You know you are meant to do more. To be able to get to that stage of peacefulness, it takes a lot of trekking through the dark. We have been put under so much pressure we needed to clear. It is an honor to be here for Gaia, for humanity, for Source, for every sentient being. You are a trailblazer, and I'm here for the other trailblazers. If that's not you, then you can follow someone else. I see the fire in your eyes, and I'm looking for the other dragons, the dragons that are not afraid, because we've died over and over and over to be here again, to finally wake up. We are here to change the world. This is our divine mission, and is not for the weak. We don't live in 3D. Our consciousness is way above fourth harmonic or the timeless. We are the ones bringing intelligence to humanity. And you have to start embracing it. Are you afraid to die? Are you cut out for this? Or are you going to go back hiding in your little safe cocoon? Wait another 26,000 years. 2025, we're going to take action. We've done all of the energetic clearing in 2024, and you're ready. My theme for 2025 will be momentum, precision, and innovation. We're going to be taking our place in the dominance hierarchy, and the time is now. We're going to be bulldozing anyone and anything that gets in the way. Rules are meant to be broken. There are no rules. Rules are just constructs for the weak. Some are just meant to be sheeps because they're too afraid, and that's okay. They have a role in the biodiversity of Gaia's ecosystem too. The moss is just as important as the tall sequoia tree. A network of mushrooms or an ant is just as powerful. They keep the balance. But you are meant to do more. If you ask me, who is God? To me, it is a socio-cultural construct that seeks to give meaning to the things that exist. It is an image that serves as a guide for those who feel lost in a strange world. He is an idea. God illuminates what lies beyond our sight and understanding. It reveals glimpses of destiny and purpose into the unknown. This divine presence kindles hope through faith, inspiring us to explore and persevere on our journey forward. God works through our actions because our actions are God. What moves the universe? Energy, the polarization. At its most fundamental level, energy manifests through the exchange of electrons between atoms, creating electric currents. This atomic interaction is the one that sets in motion a notable cascades of many more complexities. First, atom combines to form molecules, which in turn organize into chemical elements. These elements can form both inorganic structures, and through specific combinations, they give rise to organic compounds, just like how table salt is made. Sodium and chloride are elements. When sodium atom loses an electron to become positive ion, one chloride atom gains that electron to become a negative ion. They attract each other because of their opposite charges. They form the compound sodium chloride. This is a straightforward example of how positive and negative ions combine to create something new in the chemical world. This is chemical bonding process, which is the building blocks of life. In living organisms, these organic compounds work together to create intricate biological systems, including the neural network that helps us generate thought, which at its core is a sophisticated pattern of electrical signals that is moving between neurons at an atomic level. Every transfer of energy, whether it is an electron jumping between atoms or a neural impulse firing in our brain, this represents what we call an action, a force doing work. This endless flow of energy and action is fundamental to the existence itself. This is what allows us to perceive both time through the consequences of changes and space through the interaction of matter and energy within it. So the dynamic energy flow gives meaning to the existence in two crucial ways. First, it makes physical and biological process possible. Second, it follows a directional pattern typically flowing from areas from high potential, this is often labeled as negative, to areas lower potential labeled as positive. This is like water flowing downhill or heat moving from hot to cold. This directionality helps explain Newton's third law. Energy can neither be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed. I read this book by Hegel. In Hegelian philosophy, his concept of sublimation, there is this idea of the divine descending rather than just humans ascending to be with the divine. This is a very profound reversal of traditional religious thinking. In Hegel's view, God or the absolute spirit doesn't remain transcendent, but it is separate from the world and rather manifests itself through human consciousness, through history and our actions. This process involves what he called the dialectal movement, where the opposing forces are reconciled into higher synthesis. So, for example, the crucifixion represents this concept perfectly. Instead of just being about humans' ascension to heaven, it symbolizes the divine spirit descending into matter, suffering, and death only to be reborn. Christ's death and resurrection symbolizes how the divine enters into the finite, the mortal world, rather than remaining purely transcendent. This relates beautifully how God is manifesting through our actions. We aren't just trying to escape the material world to reach some distant divine realm. Rather, we become these vessels through divine purpose expressing itself in the world. Our positive actions, our drive to improve and create, this becomes our manifestation of the divine energy working through us. The idea of being the eternal vessels of the divine is pointing out that our purpose isn't to leave the material world behind, but to be the channels through which divine purpose can manifest in this physical realm. That's what the Garden of Eden was supposed to be, to create heaven on earth. Each positive action, each step forward to growth and understanding, it becomes a way that the divine energy expresses itself through human consciousness and activity. There is no river without water molecules. There is no wind without swirling of air masses. No heartbeat without the pulse of electrical signals through our tissues. There is no God without movement. Look at how the trees grow. It doesn't just reach upwards towards the light, it simultaneously drives its roots deep into the earth, and every time it grows, it is both an ascension and a descent. This is a perfect mirror of the divine action. The tree doesn't just receive sunlight passively, instead it transforms it and it turns light into life through the quiet alchemy of photosynthesis. This way, the tree is embodying divine action, not just reaching towards the heavens, but bringing heaven energy down into matter and transmuting light into a living tissue. The word God itself comes from the ancient roots meaning to invoke, to pour, to libate, suggesting that even at our earliest understanding, The divine was conceived not as this static being, but this dynamic force that pours itself into existence. Like a spring that must flow to be a spring, like a fire that must consume to be a fire, like thought that must be moved to be a thought, the divine nature is found not in static perfection, but in the eternal transformation of becoming. Just as a wave cannot exist without the ocean's movement, or a lightning cannot flash without the building tension between the sky and the earth, as the seed cannot sprout without breaking open, divinity expresses itself not in perfect stillness, but in the rhythm of action, transformation, and the renewal. I'm going to tell you a story. 70 years ago, the Toba volcano erupted in Sumatra. This was the largest volcanic eruption in history. Its ashes covered the planet for months, especially where people lived. Many were forced to migrate, and it was days and months of darkness. A period of volcanic winter began, which the temperature dropped because the sunlight could not penetrate properly. This event generated this psychological change that defined the history that follows. Humans started to migrate in search of the sun's brightness, and this was so pivotal in the moment in human prehistory. As this volcanic winter gripped the earth, many of the plants withered and the animals died, while some species managed to adapt to the harsh conditions. Most of life, including early humans, had to move northwards in search of survival following the warmth of the sun. This near extinction event left such an indelible mark on human consciousness. Of the 100,000 humans who survived, their profound experience of darkness, the cold, and devastation became deeply embedded in our collective memory. This ancestral trauma explains humanity's primal fear of darkness and our eternal quest for the divine light, not just a physical illumination and warmth, but as a spiritual salvation. This ancient memory of this catastrophe shaped our earliest spiritual impulses, the universal human drive to seek light and warmth, both literally and metaphorically, as this was a symbol of life and hope and divine protection against the darkness. After that, we started an animist traditions, which is the Devas, meaning light. Deva, Devi, divine, devotee, the etymological evolution of the words related to divinity and light. Its root origins and meaning started from the Indo-European root meaning Dayu. Dayu means brightness, sky, or day, and it branched into several connected concepts. There's the devotee who follows or seeks the light, divine or divinity, relating to the quality of light or enlightenment. Deity or deva referring to a celestial or light being. To divine is to find clarity or illuminate understanding. Then the Greek evolution started. Theos, it was developed from this root meaning light upon something. This gave us words like theory, the study of contemplation, or light, knowledge, theology, the study of divine matters. Zeus is the supreme sky light god. In Latin evolution, it started as Diu, combined with Pater, meaning father, to become Diju, Pater, or Jupiter, literally meaning sky father or father of the light. In Sanskrit and Indian tradition, the Deva, Sanskrit for celestial being, this evolved into Devos, and this gave us the words like divine, divina, devo, diva, formed the basis of the Indian Devic pantheon of gods and goddesses. Modern Romans languages, the Latin forms, evolved into various modern words for gods. Early humans associated God with light. Think of how early humans looked up to the sky. They saw the sun as this greatest light warming the earth, making plants grow and letting them see the world clearly. They understood this mighty light as God, the highest power, but the sky held other lights too. At night, the moon and the stars took over, like smaller gods, helping us to guide people through the darkness. When shooting stars streaked across the sky, People understood them as the sign that something was special was happening on Earth. This was like the birth of somebody important. The sun was like a king in the sky, ruling over all these other lights, the planets, the stars, the moon, where his family are the helpers. People began telling stories about these lights in the sky, and they gave them names and personalities, imagining how they might relate to each other like characters in a great story. Over time, people started seeing the divine light everywhere, not just the sky, but in trees, rivers, mountains, even in themselves. They began to understand that this same light that shines the sun might also shine within every living being, but just in different ways. This way of seeing the world, finding divine light in everything, this has shaped how people understood God for thousands of years. Instead of thinking as God as just this faraway light in heaven, they saw the spark of divine light around them in nature and everything they've encountered. By the time Egypt happened, Akhenaten, who was the pharaoh in Luxor, they had Ra as the supreme god, and he had two aspects, Aton, which is the invisible light, and Amun, the invisible light. He changed his name to Amenhotep and later became Akhenaten. His effort to shift religious beliefs from polytheism to monotheism resulted, and primarily from personal politics and religious motivations. However, all colors come from white light. Each culture has a special way of seeing this. God is light, the photon, the essence of motion, the force that generates movements, that lives within all of that exists. There are different frequencies and wavelengths that create infinite spectrum of possibilities. This manifests as the diverse expression of divinity, different gods and goddesses. All the gods are the rays of the sun, a single consciousness called the divine consciousness. To become divinely conscious is to recognize that there is not just one God, but that all gods and goddesses are one. We all originate from God, embody God, and ultimately return to God. Beyond all of the religions, beliefs, and the conflicts humanity faces, both within and without, divinity lies in all things. Often, it is in our unconscious search that you seek external reflections because you fail to recognize it within yourself. Yet when you see that God is a movement, you will understand it as your origin, destination, mission, and purpose. In awakening to your divinity, you will realize that your actions hold the power to transform the world and align you with the universe. Free from fear and beyond bounds of belief, you will come to truly recognize who you are. In our next video, I will be showing you the 12 seeds of life. The 12 seeds of life is the 12 aspects of God expressing itself. I'm also going to show you how to align your year in coherence with the astrological movements. Until next time, like and subscribe. Peace.